Your cat flops onto her back right in front of you, belly up, paws curled in that irresistible way that makes you think she wants attention. Looks like an invitation for belly rubs, right? You reach down and suddenly all four paws wrap around your hand like a trap, claws out, and you're left wondering what you did wrong. So what just happened? Rolling over ranks among the most misread signals in cat communication, which is saying something given how often we misinterpret what cats tell us. That exposed belly, packed with liver, kidneys, stomach, and intestines, just millimeters beneath skin and fur, represents the most vulnerable part of a cat's anatomy. Wild cats rarely expose this area unless something important is happening, whether that's establishing trust, preparing for combat, or sending chemical messages to other cats in the area. Domestic cats roll over for at least 6 different reasons, each with a completely different meaning behind the same physical movement. Reading which one your cat is performing depends on everything else the cat is doing at that exact moment. Ears, pupils, tail, body tension, and the broader context tell the real story, and missing even one of these signals can turn a sweet moment into a scratched hand. Let's break down what your cat is actually saying when she shows you her most vulnerable side. When a cat rolls over with ears pointed forward, pupils normal-sized, tail calm, and muscles loose, that cat is displaying what researchers call a secure attachment behavior. The position itself communicates something specific about how the cat perceives both you and the environment. A 2019 study from Oregon State University tested 96 cats using the same protocol developmental psychologists developed for human infants decades earlier. Kristen Vitale and her team found that 65.8% of adult cats showed secure attachment to their caregivers, a rate nearly identical to the 65% found in human children and actually higher than the 61% observed in dogs. Securely attached cats treat their humans as a source of safety in an uncertain world. Rolling onto the back in this context signals that the cat perceives no immediate threat in the environment and feels comfortable enough to abandon defensive positioning. The behavior says, "I feel safe enough here to expose my most vulnerable area." But here's the part that trips people up and leads to most of those surprise attacks. Trust does not equal permission to touch. Many cats display trust through belly exposure but still prefer not to be touched there, and this isn't contradictory or confusing from the cat's perspective. The belly remains a sensitive area packed with nerve endings that register touch more intensely than the areas cats typically invite you to pet, like the head and neck. A cat can simultaneously communicate, "I feel secure with you," and "please don't touch my stomach," without any internal conflict. Think of it like a human lying down in front of a friend, which shows comfort and trust, but doesn't mean the friend should start poking their ribs or pressing on their abdomen. Research on cat-human interaction shows that slow blinking increases the likelihood of continued positive engagement between species. When humans narrow their eyes and blink slowly at a cat, and the cat returns the gesture about 1 second later, approach behavior and rolling both become more frequent in the following minutes. Scientists interpret this exchange as analogous to human smiling, a learned signal of benign intent that crosses the species barrier more effectively than most communication attempts. The key diagnostic features for trust-based rolling center on the ears. Erect ears facing forward appeared in 97.8% of positive cat-human interactions in a 2021 study examining ear positioning as a predictor of interaction outcomes. Forward ears predict positive outcomes better than tail position, vocalization, or approach speed. Pair that forward ear position with a cat who initiates the roll rather than responding to being cornered or picked up, and you're seeing genuine comfort rather than appeasement or defensive preparation. But change even one element in this picture. Flatten those ears, dilate those pupils, tense that tail, and the meaning flips completely to something far less welcoming. Cats possess what behaviorists call the all-fours-up defensive posture, a tactical position that looks deceptively vulnerable but actually maximizes offensive capability. A cat on its back can deploy every weapon simultaneously, 4 sets of claws plus teeth, all aimed at a single target approaching from above. This position appears during both play fighting between cats and genuine conflict, and telling the difference matters if you want to keep your hands intact. A 2021 analysis of 210 recorded cat interactions identified reciprocal wrestling and belly-up posturing as the behaviors most strongly associated with play between cats, but only when specific features accompanied the physical position. Playful rolling includes rapid position changes, where cats switch who's on top, frequent pauses where both cats disengage briefly, minimal vocalization beyond occasional chirps, and inhibited biting where teeth make contact but don't break skin. Conflict rolling looks different in every respect. Sustained belly-up positioning with one cat trapped, no pauses or disengagement, escalating intensity as the interaction continues, and vocalizations like hissing or growling that signal genuine distress or aggression. The bunny kick, where a cat wraps front paws around a target and delivers rapid raking kicks with hind legs, serves as both a hunting technique and a fighting move depending on context. When directed at prey, the kick targets critical areas to disable the animal quickly, a technique big cats use to bring down animals larger than themselves. When directed at another cat, or an unwary human hand that reached for that exposed belly, the same instinct activates with the same force. Kittens learn bite inhibition between 7 and 14 weeks of age through interaction with littermates and their mother. When a kitten bites too hard during play, the recipient vocalizes sharply and stops playing, walking away or refusing to engage. This teaches force calibration, the ability to control jaw pressure based on social context. Kittens separated from their mothers and siblings before 10 to 12 weeks often fail to develop appropriate inhibition and may employ full-force bites and kicks throughout their lives, never having learned that play has different rules than hunting or fighting. The trap scenario, where a cat rolls to invite approach and then attacks the reaching hand, can indicate either playful intent with poor inhibition or a defensive response from a cat with insecure attachment. Insecurely attached cats, representing about 35% of the cat population, may use rolling strategically rather than as a genuine trust signal. They've learned the behavior gets attention and interaction from humans, but their underlying comfort level remains low, so the interaction quickly shifts from invitation to defense once contact begins. Cats possess sebaceous glands on their forehead, cheeks, chin, lips, tail, and paw pads that produce individual scent signatures as unique as fingerprints. When a cat rolls, particularly on concrete, dirt, or carpet, the behavior deposits scent from glands along the sides and back of the body that don't get activated during normal walking or standing. This marks territory and communicates presence to other cats who pass through the same area hours or even days later. The chemical composition of these secretions varies by location on the body, with each gland type serving different communicative functions. Facial glands produce pheromones carrying emotional information about contentment, anxiety, or stress levels at the time of marking. Paw pad secretions carry more territorial data, announcing ownership and boundaries. Rolling combines multiple scent sources into a distributed signature that other cats can read like a bulletin board, gathering information about who was here, when they passed through, and what emotional state they were in. Female cats in estrus, the heat cycle lasting 3 to 14 days, display dramatic increases in rolling behavior driven by reproductive hormones. The rolling distributes pheromones that signal availability to potential mates while the cat vocalizes loudly and adopts the lordosis posture, hindquarters raise, tail to the side, crouching on front legs. Unspayed cats may roll dozens of times per hour during peak estrus, a frequency that makes the behavior impossible to miss or misinterpret. But rolling also serves non-reproductive functions tied to temperature regulation, a constant challenge for an animal covered in fur. Cats maintain body temperatures of 38 to 39 degrees Celsius, higher than the human average of 37 degrees. Unlike humans who sweat across their entire body surface, cats only have functional sweat glands on their paw pads. They regulate temperature primarily through behavior rather than physiology, seeking shade, sprawling to maximize surface area, or rolling on cool surfaces. A cat rolling on cool tile during summer is dissipating heat, pressing as much body surface as possible against the temperature differential. A cat rolling in a sunny patch during winter is absorbing warmth, rotating to expose different areas to direct sunlight. The same physical behavior serves opposite thermoregulatory goals depending on environmental context, and cats switch between these strategies throughout the day as conditions change. Skin irritation from fleas, fungal infections, or allergies also triggers rolling and rubbing as the cat attempts to relieve discomfort. Cats experiencing intense itching roll repeatedly on the affected area, using friction against carpet or concrete to scratch places they can't reach effectively with their paws. When rolling becomes excessive or is paired with over-grooming and hair loss, the behavior may indicate flea-allergic dermatitis, the most common skin condition in domestic cats, or more rarely, feline hyperesthesia syndrome, a neurological condition causing extreme sensitivity along the spine and flanks. No single behavior tells the complete story, which is why focusing only on the roll itself leads to so many misinterpretations. Rolling means nothing without context, and the context includes everything else the cat's body is doing in that moment. The research is clear on this point. Ear position predicts interaction outcomes better than any other single feature observers can track. Forward, erect ears signal positive intent and openness to interaction. Flattened ears pressed back against the head signal fear, aggression, or defensive arousal depending on what the rest of the body is doing. Ears rotated to the side, sometimes called airplane ears, indicate uncertainty or conflict between competing motivations like curiosity and caution. Pupil size adds another layer of information about arousal level. Normal resting pupils, adjusted for ambient light, indicate calm. Dilated pupils indicate arousal, which could mean excitement, fear, or aggression depending on context. You need other signals to distinguish which type of arousal you're looking at, because the pupils alone can't tell you whether the cat is thrilled or terrified. Tail movement completes the picture and often provides the deciding vote when other signals seem ambiguous. A still or gently swaying tail paired with rolling suggests comfort and low arousal. A tail thrashing side to side indicates agitation or mounting frustration. A puffed-up tail signals defensive aggression, the cat trying to appear larger to deter threats. The cat's history with you matters too, shaping what rolling means in your specific relationship. A cat rewarded with gentle petting after rolling learns that the behavior produces pleasant outcomes and will repeat it in genuinely receptive contexts, building positive associations. A cat punished, handled roughly, or ignored when rolling learns different associations and may employ rolling deceptively to initiate interaction before switching to defensive behavior, or may avoid rolling entirely around humans, despite rolling frequently when alone. Attachment style, shaped partly by genetics and partly by early socialization experiences, influences how often and in what contexts a cat rolls around humans. Secure cats roll more frequently and in more varied situations, treating the behavior as a general communication tool. Avoidant cats roll rarely and selectively, reserving the behavior for moments of high comfort or specific environmental triggers like catnip or sunny spots. Your cat rolls over to say, "I trust you." Also to say, "Let's play fight." Also to say, "I'm in heat." Also to say, "This tile is wonderfully cool." Also to say, "My back itches." Also to say, "I'm marking this spot as mine." Which message your cat is sending depends on everything else happening in that moment. The position of the ears, the size of the pupils, the movement of the tail, the temperature of the room, the cat's reproductive status, the relationship you've built over months or years of shared space. Cats communicate in layers, not single words, and rolling is one piece of a larger language that includes vocalizations, scent marking, body positioning, and dozens of subtle signals we're only beginning to decode systematically. Your job isn't to guess what the roll means based on human intuition about what an exposed belly should signal. Your job is to watch, learn the patterns unique to your cat, and let your cat teach you what she means when she shows you her belly, because the answer will be slightly different for every cat you meet. This is what separates cats from dogs, really. Dogs were bred for thousands of years to communicate clearly with humans, to make their intentions obvious, to bridge the species gap. Cats domesticated themselves, moved into human settlements when it suited them, and kept their wild communication system largely intact. They didn't evolve to be understood by us. We have to evolve our understanding to meet them where they are, reading signals that were designed for other cats, and learning a language that doesn't translate directly into human social rules. That's harder work than most people expect when they bring home a cat. But it's also what makes the moments of genuine mutual understanding feel like a minor miracle, a bridge built carefully over time between two species that think in completely different ways.